Hello and welcome to the How-To series. My name is Roger No, and in this video I'll attempt to explain how to format your references APA style. APA style formatting is very important to college level and other forms of academic writing. But it seems that students seem to have great difficulty in properly assessing the sources they're using and finding the right information to include in their APA formatted references. So here what I'm hoping to do is to walk you through it by example, in fact 3 examples, such that you can be more successful with your academic writing. Now, I'm producing this video with the 2 Gen Ed 500 projects specifically in mind. And so what I'll be doing is walking through 3 examples that are typical of the Gen Ed's writing projects. Now, there's no doubt many different forms of sources that are out there that you will encounter, but my hope here is by focusing on the 3 very most common, you can then generalize these rules and work forward successfully in any of your referencing endeavors. So first of all, before I get into showing you the actual ones, what I invite you to see is that in order to properly reference APA style, there's some minimum bibliographic information that is required. Now, and there are many different forms of how this is found and how you're going to write this down and format it. But at its core, the essence is always the same. We're going to be, basically what we want to be able to do is to tell our reader where we found the source and who owns it, where it can be found, and tell me, your reader, where can I find it. So inside of all that, more specifically, we're looking for the author of the written work. Secondly, the date, the title of the article or the title of the piece from which you're drawing your information, and then basically where you found it. What publication did you find it in? And we'll see, there's different combinations of things here to consider. And then typically, where did you find it? Very often now, of course, obviously things are from the web, and so we have what we call the retrieval statement, retrieved on the date you retrieved it. So we'll do an example in a minute, from, and then copy paste the full HTML link. Now I'm going to walk you through a specific example for a newspaper article in just a moment. The author, I want to say a bit more about the author here, because there's an important detail that I want to focus on. We have typically a given name and a last name, or a first name and last name. In Western convention, last name comes first. So we're going to use that first, and then to show that it's the last name first, we put the comma. Then we use only the first initial of the first name, as we see here. Again, I'll show you examples of this in just a second. The other part that requires a little bit more explanation is the date. You want to know the date of the source. Now, in the old days, here we are with the newspaper. Remember that a newspaper date, we anticipate that the newspaper is going to publish every day. So, knowing that it's the Toronto Star 2018 tells us close to nothing. So what we're going to need to do is to use an expanded form of the date. And this is the way APA wants us to format today's date. Now, it may appear funny to you, but this is the way they want it. They want to see the year first, comma, then the month spelled out in full, and then the numeric date of the day. And then we're going to want to close the bracket. And then later we'll put a period at the end. Now I'm going to show you this by way of example, as well as some other specifics in just a second. I'm going to go first of all to a newspaper article. So here I've got the Star. Now we'll realize that that is in fact the Toronto Star. And of course this is from an internet, from the internet. I'll just show you my URL. We'll come back to that later. HTTPS. So I have a newspaper article that I found online, and now what I want to do is I want to do the APA reference for it. I know the first piece of information I'm looking for is the writer's name. In this case, Morgan Campbell is the writer of the article. Campbell is the family name or the last name. Morgan is the first name. So let me come to my my page. Oops, I don't want you to see that. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go like this, and we'll say that Campbell is the author's family name, and then the first initial of their first name, M, comma, and then I'm going to put in the date. Now this date was definitely 2018, Wednesday, September 5th. Now for our APA formatted date, Wednesday is not relevant, simply September 5th. So we're going to type in 2018, September 5th, close bracket, period. And now we're going to enter the title of the newspaper article. So Nike's bold new Kaepernick partnership, and that matters. Now here I'm going to save you the pain of watching me type. And so here you can see I've keyed in the name of the article in full the way it appears in the newspaper. Then what I'm doing is I'm putting in the name of the publication. You could say the Star. I'm calling it the Toronto Star. It's the same thing. And then I'm making a note that I found this in the sports section, which is here, rather than the news section or the business section or anything else. That helps me understand the context of where, and it helps anybody find the piece. And then finally, what I want to do is to put in my retrieval statement. I've turned the publication into italics, and that's how we know it's the name of the publication, because it's in italics. And then finally, my retrieval statement, retrieved on whatever the date was, in this case September 19th. Note, the article is from September the 5th, but I retrieved it on September 19th from. And then what I am doing is I'm double-clicking, copying the entire URL, not for my Google search term, but for the page where the article is found and can be found. All right. And now when I did this, one last piece of thing I've got to do is I've got to format this entire entry appropriately, and I do that by indenting the second and third, fourth lines of the reference. We do this so that the author's name is more clearly visible when we see the list. So this is an APA style format for a newspaper article. Now, another form that is very common for your gen ed work, particularly your social analysis proposal and report, is using web pages as a source. So in this case, I'm doing some research on homelessness, and I have come to a website that is called homelesshub.ca. Now that's the name of an organization, and it's the name of a website, and I'm going to, in this case, I'm going to use it, this page right here. I'm going to quote some of the statistics that are found on this page in my proposal, for example. So I'm using this, and now I know that when I do my APA reference, I'm going to be asked for the author, the date, the name of the publication, the name of the article. In this case, it's not a newspaper article, it's a web page. And then finally, rather than a publication, this is a website. So I'm going to be providing the information for this web page and the website, and then ultimately retrieved on from this link right here. So coming back to our page, what I'll do then is I'm identifying Homeless Hub as the author. That's what we call an organization or a corporate author. The information is provided not by an individual person, but the organization. So Homeless Hub, period. Now, when I was looking for a date, I didn't see a date anywhere here. You can see that they say as of 2013, but don't be confused. That's not a calendar date. That's the date that the statistics are relevant for. So in this case, I see no date. So what I'm going to do is express that as ND, no date. And very specifically, small n, period, small d, period, close bracket, period. And now what I'm being asked for is the name of the article, more specifically, the name of the web page. And you can see that I am calling that page Cost Analysis of Homelessness, because when I look at this, that is the apparent title of this page. Homeless Hub is the author, the organization. HomelessHub.ca is the publication or the place where I found it. And so that's why I'm going to use Homeless Hub in the next position. And I'm going to italicize that the way I would have the newspaper, the Toronto Star, the place where I found that article, or the website where I found that web page. And then again, retrieved on today's date, not the date of the article, but whatever day I'm retrieving this, and then from, and I'm copying in the complete URL as it appears at the top. So that's how to properly reference a web page. Finally, what I want to do is I want to reference a publication. And in this situation, what I've done is I've found a report in another location on this website, homeless.ca, homelesshub.ca. But here is my report. Now you can see that it's from Homeless Hub by going to the URL. But here I have a 126-page report that I want to draw from and reference in my list of references. Like all pieces, I know I need to find the author, the date, the title of the thing, in this case, the title of the report, and then thirdly, who published it, and then finally, where I found it, what is the URL, what is the link, and that retrieval statement. So I know I'm going to need this information. So here is my report, and this is the outside cover of it, without a home, the National Youth Homeless Survey, and a list of names. Aha. So we have the name of the report, and this looks like a list of authors. I'm going to go into the inside cover, the first page, and I see again the same information. This tells me this is the title of the report. It's a 126-page booklet or report with that title. And these are clearly the authors. There are 4 authors. And as I look through for dates, I can see here there's information I don't need, but here I find a date, and it's 2016. It's copywritten 2016, and beside that is the publisher's name. That is the people, not who wrote the book, but who published the book. And we're going to need their information as well. So we come to our workspace, and now what we want to do is we want to type in the names. And we saw there are 4 names. We have Gates, O'Grady, Kidd, Schwann. And what I'm doing is I'm reversing their names because we know that APA wants family name or last name first. And that's why Gates, comma, then I'm bringing the S in, period, comma, O'Grady, Bill, etc., etc. And you can see how I've done that here. And I just keep putting in commas. I put all 4 in. Don't alphabetize them. Keep them in the same order in which they appear. Okay, then finally, the date, in this case only a calendar, a year, then the title of the report, and in this case the name of the publisher, and finally the retrieval statement. Now I can see I'm running out of time. What I want to do is I want to show you that when you go to do these, you put them all together on one page, and then APA wants us to alphabetize these by author name. I'm sorry, that's